Yahweh Hashem Yashar Barakatuh. Try not to give you that much.
La Yasharala.
La Yasharala. Go to horn again. So turn this upside down. Yeah, like that. All right, Amayim, which means to stand, Sar, which means to turn, Hanya Hakodam, which means to face the east. You close that door real quick, up here. And we're going to start with the Lord's Prayer in the Lashawan Kodash, and then in the English. Oh, you're going to start.
The Lord's Prayer in the Lashon Kodash. Abanau. Shabbat Shema.
Shabbat Shema.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayat.
Hayat.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malaklaka.
Malaklaka.
Tabaat.
Tabaat.
Hatazak.
Hatazaka.
Hayat.
Hayat.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Baratza.
Baratza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Hayat.
Hayat.
Bashma.
Bashma.
Batalana.
Batalana.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Ka.
Ka.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Masalakna.
Masalakna.
Kabawatna.
Kabawatna.
Kasalakna.
Kasalakna.
Kabawatna.
Kabawatna.
Wala.
Wala.
Kabiyaina.
Kabiyaina.
Banasawan.
Banasawan.
Abba.
Abba.
Aishaina.
Aishaina.
Ayan.
Ayan.
Ra.
Ra.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amlakwa.
Amalakwa.
Wahala.
Wahala.
Watapara.
Watahara.
Alamim.
Alamim. Amen. All right, Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
In earth.
In earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
Forgive us our debts.
Give us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not.
Lead us not
into temptation.
into temptation.
But deliver us.
Deliver us
from evil.
From evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
Thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it. This is the Haka and the power. It's like Haka, the power in the Lashon Kodash. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahweh.
Yahushua.
Ba'ashem.
Baruchah.
Batalana.
Batalana.
Haka.
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 La'afa'ah.
La'afa'ah.
Ka makala.
Kamakala.
Waka marawa.
Kamarawa.
Haka.
Haka.
Latahar.
Latahar.
Hamatazarayim.
Hamatazarayim.
Haka.
Haka.
Lahakwim.
Lahakwim.
Hamatim.
Hamathim.
Haka.
Haka.
Awakawa.
Arakawa.
Hatamala.
Hatama'ala.
Nagarashan.
Nagarashan.
Ba'ashem.
Bahasham.
Yahusha.
Yahushua.
Tawada.
Tawada. Amen. Now we were saying a power prayer in the English. Lord, in the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahushua,
please give us the power
please give us the
the
power.
power to heal
Power to heal
all manner of sickness
all manner of sickness.
and all manner of disease,
All manner of disease.
the power to cleanse the lepers,
Power to cleanse the lepers.
the power to raise the dead,
Power to raise the
the
dead.
power against unclean spirits,
Power against unclean spirits.
to cast them out.
Cast them out.
In the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahushua.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. This is the blessed Israel in the Lashon Kodash. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Wakanao.
Barakanaw.
Masha'al.
Wayasha'al.
Wahabaya.
Wahabayah.
Sapari.
Sapari.
Barak.
Barak.
Ba'ashem.
Bahasham.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
What?
Tawada. Amen. And what we just said was, Lord,
Lord.
in the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahushua.
bless us
Bless us.
and Israel
And Israel.
and the school.
And the school.
In the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahushua.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 121 in the Lashon Kodash. Aisha.
Aisha.
Yanya.
Ayanya.
Ahahai.
Ahahai.
Ahayat.
Ahayat.
Yaba'a.
Yaba'ah.
Azar.
Isaiah.
Azar.
Isaiah.
Ma'an.
Ma'an.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shamayam.
Shemayim.
Wa'aratazah.
Ba'aratazah.
Ayatan.
Ayatan.
Lama Wat.
Lamawat.
Galka.
Regalka.
Ayanawam.
Ayanawam.
Shmarka.
Shabarka.
Ana.
Kana.
La'a.
La'a.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yayashan.
Yagashan.
Shalmar.
Shalmar.
Yasha'al.
Yasharal.
Yahaw.
Yahawah.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahaw.
Yahawah.
Tazalka.
Tazalka.
Al-Yad.
Al-Yad.
Yamyamka.
Yamyinka.
Yawamam.
Yamamam.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
Ayakaka.
Ayaka.
Wayarak.
Wayarak.
Walayala.
Walayala.
Yahaw.
Yahawah.
Hashmarka.
Yashamarka.
Makara.
Makarak.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Atnapashka.
Athnapashka.
Yahaw.
Yahawah.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Tazak.
Tazahaka.
Ubawaka.
Ubawaka.
Mayata.
Mayata.
Wa'ad.
Wa'ai.
Abulam.
I will love. Now in English. I will lift up my eyes into the hill.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from your help,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Yahshua
he that keepeth Yasha'al
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade.
Yahweh is thy shade.
Upon thy right hand,
Upon thy right hand.
the sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming in.
From this time forth
From this time forth,
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, in the Last Strong Production. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Adamayalaka.
Adamayalaka.
Altakarash.
Altakarash.
Wa'ata Shakwat.
Wa'ata shakwat.
Al.
Al.
Hayahana.
Hayahana.
Awayabyaka.
Awiyabyaka.
Yahamayawan.
Yahabayawan.
Ash.
Ra'ash.
Al-Amaka.
Alamaka.
Yariyamwa.
Yariyamwa.
Sawada.
Sawada.
Wayata.
Wayata.
Yaitazawa.
Yaitazwa.
Atazapawanyaka.
Atazapawanyaka.
Amarawa.
Amarwa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakatidam.
Wanakatidam.
Magali.
Magalia.
Wala Yazakar.
Malaya Zakar.
Some Yashal.
Shamya Sha'al.
Awada.
Iwada.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawaitazawa.
Nawaitazwa.
Laba.
Laba.
Yakadwa.
Yakadwa.
Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Barya.
Barya.
Yakarath.
Yakarathwa.
Ahali.
Ahalia.
Alwam.
Alawam.
Wayashmalia.
Wayashmaelim.
Mawab.
Mawaba.
Wagari.
Bahagaria.
Gabal.
Gabal.
Amawan.
Waimawan.
Wamalak.
Waimalak.
Alasha.
Halashat.
Amyashab.
Imishabia.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gamashawar.
Gamashawar.
Alawa.
Alawa.
Ima.
Ima.
Ayawa.
Hayawa.
Zarawat.
Zarawat.
Abanyalawat.
Labanilawat.
Salah.
Salah.
Aishalaham.
Aishalaham.
Kamadi.
Kamanya.
Kasiyasara.
Kasayasara.
Kayabya.
Kayabia.
Panakar.
Banakal.
Koyashwa.
Wayashwa.
Nashamadwa.
Nashamadwa.
Ayandara.
Nabayandara.
Ayawa.
Hayawa.
Dama.
Daman.
Adama.
Adama.
Shaytamu.
Shayatamu.
Nada Yama.
Nadayamawa.
Kaira.
Ira.
Kazaba.
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 Katazamana.
Kazazamanai.
Kalasai Kama.
Halasai Kamwa.
Ashar.
Ashar.
Amaru.
Amarwa.
Harusha.
Hayosha.
Amawa.
Lanawa.
At.
At.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Alahaya.
Alahayim.
Alahaya.
Alahaya.
Shaytamu.
Shayatamwa.
Kagalgala.
Kagalgala.
Kakwash.
Kakwash.
Kapanya Raka.
Papanyara.
Ka'ach.
Sha'ach.
Tabair.
Tabaira.
Ya'ir.
Ya'ira.
Wakalhaba.
Kalahaba.
Talahat.
Salahat.
Awiyam.
Harayam.
Kantar Dap.
Kantaradapma.
Basairaka.
Basairaka.
Wabasawapat.
Wabasawa Pathka.
Tabahalam.
Tabahalam.
Mala'a.
Mala'a.
Tanyaham.
Panyaham.
Palawan.
Palawan.
Webapashu.
Webakwashwa.
Shamkab.
Shankar.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Yabashwa.
Yabashwa.
Webahawa.
Webahalwa.
Aya.
Ayai.
Wekapawa.
Weakaparwa.
Weabagwa.
Weabadwa.
Wedaiwa.
Weadaiwa.
Hayata.
Hayata.
Shamkab.
Shankar.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Labaka.
Labaka.
Ayawan.
Alyawan.
Alkaha.
Alkaha.
Aratiza.
Aratiza. Psalm chapter 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence,
Sinatasad.
O Yahweh.
Oh Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
Be not still,
Be not still.
O Yahweh.
Oh Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thy enemies make a tumult.
thy enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee
And they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty
They
counsel
have taken crafty counsel
against thy people
against thy people.
and consulted
and consulted
against thy hidden ones.
against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
let us cut them off
let us cut them off
from being a nation.
from being a nation.
The name of Yasharallah
And then we got shot
may be no more in remembrance.
and we no longer remembrance.
But they are consulted together
They are consulted together
with one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They are confederate against
the
thee.
tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom
and the Ishmaelites,
and the Israelites,
of Moab,
Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and the Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon, and Amalek,
Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
the inhabitants of Tyre.
the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also is joined with them.
Ashur also was joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They are hope of the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them,
Do unto them,
as unto the Midianites,
as unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
the brook of Kasan,
the brook of Kassan,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles
Make their nobles
like Oreb
like Oreb,
and like Zeid.
like Zeid.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes as Zabah
all the princes of Sabbath,
and as Zalmunna,
as Amun,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
let us take to
the
ourselves
houses of God in possession.
the houses of God in possession.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as a stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth a wood,
as the fire burns the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
as the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute them
with thy tempests,
with thy tempest,
and make them afraid
make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name,
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh,
Let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and troubled forever.
and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish.
that men may know
That they may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high
art the most high
over all the earth.
over all the earth. This is the blessing prayer and the last one for us. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Miyaka'al.
Wa Mayaka'ala.
Wa Alahai.
Wa Alahai.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Atazab Ya'ah.
Alawat Yahana.
Alawat Yahana.
Ha Alawapim.
Ha Alawapim.
Aswami.
Asaranya.
Kwazayani.
Patazayanya.
Bakari Yahweh.
Hakalya Yelya.
Wa Agwatim.
Wa Agwatim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Wa Hashem.
Mahasham.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Wa.
Tawada. Amen. Blessings prayer in English. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh.
and Yahweh Shai,
And Yahweh Shai.
and Michael,
And Michael.
and the angels,
And the angels.
commanding General Yohanan,
And the general Yahweh.
the generals,
The generals.
the captains,
The captains.
the officers,
The officers.
the troopers,
The troopers.
and the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
All right, Sar, turn to face the front. Blow the horn one more time. All right, with that, Mashabia, which means to sit.
Spread it out a little bit. Can you spread it out a little bit?
All right. Hashem Yahushua brought this down. Yahushua Atan Hashem Yahushua. This is the ISUPK. It started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, in 1969. Under commanding General Yohanan, we're here to teach the truth of the Bible. The so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians are the real Israelites according to the scriptures. Today is a Sabbath service. And in the Sabbath service, what we do is we read the ancient Hebrew, whether it be through prayer or the actual scriptures that we're going over. We do read them into Hebrew and then translate it into the English so everybody can understand what's being said. If you're watching on Facebook and English is not your native language, I believe you can turn on the captions that'll translate them even during a live stream. So the moments where we're actually speaking in English can be translated in real time from what I've seen, but not so much the ancient Hebrew because not even the algorithms and the AI could figure that out. That's only for us, I guess. No sign of Christ. Do we know where we left off? I believe it was Genesis chapter. Let me get it.
14, right?
Yeah, Genesis chapter 14, verse 7, and just read every 7 verses.
Okay.
And we're going to go all the way into Genesis chapter 16 and verse 10. Yeah, most likely correct.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 7. Wayashabwa. Jishbawa, Waya, Bawa, La'a, Nayawa, Mashapat, Hawa, Kadisha, Waya, Kwa, Ata, Ka, Shabat, Shadat, Ma, Ai, Malakwa, Malakwaya, Wagam, Ata, Mariah, Hajashab, Waka, Tzwa, Tamar, verse 8. Wa'atza, Malak, Saddam, Wamalak, Imaraka, Wamalak, Adama, Wamalak, Tizabah, Yum, Tizabayalim, Tizabah, Wayum, Wamalak, Balai, Hawa, Tizar, Wayai, Rakawa, Atam, Hama, Ka, Maha, Ba'ai Maka, Hasha, Dayum. Verse 9. Ata, Kada, Rala, Ayamar, Malak, Ayalam, Waka, Da'ila, Malak, Gawayam, Wa'am, Wamarapa, Malak, Shanair, Wa'ar, Ra'ayawak, Malak, Alashar, Abarayam, Abaraha, Malak, Ata, Haka, Mashacha. Verse 10. Wa'aimak, Ashadayim, Ba'arat, Barakia, Barakia, Hamar, Wa'ai, Nawa, Ma'alak, Saddam, Wa'ai, Marach, Waya Palim Palawa. No. Wa'ai Palawa. Shamaha. Waha Nasha Ra'ayim. Haraha Nashwa. Verse 11. Wa'ai Kwawa Ata Ka Rakasha Sa'adam I no Wa'ai Maraha Wa'ata Ka Akalam Waya Kawa. Verse 12. Wa'ai Kawa Ata Lawat Wa'ata Rakashwa Ban Akia Abaram Wa'ai Lakwa Waha Wa'a.
Verse 1.
12.
Okay.
12 of my dwelt.
Alright.
Almost at the end. Ashba Ba Basadam. Verse 13. Wa'ai Yab'a Pa Layat Wa'ai Waya Gada Abaram I Bariah no Ha Bariah Hi Bariah Wahwa Shakwa Ba'a Lanai Ba'alanya Mara Amma Raya Akia Ashaka Wakaya Ainara Waham Ba'ailia Ba'araya Ba'yaraka Abaram. Verse 14. Wajashmai no Wayasha Ma'ai Abaram Kaya the Shabaha Akiwa Waya Rakwa the Ana Anaya Kaya Wa Ya Laya Baya Batwa Sha Manacha Ashar Washlasha Ma'awat Waya Waya Radap Aida, Tanwa. Verse 15. Waya, Kala.
Yeah, you're done with 14. Go ahead and start at 14. Let's get to the English. There's a lot of names being mentioned in this particular chapter because we're going to read what's going on, but there's a lot of names being mentioned because people are being attacked or are laying siege to other I don't even want to call them nations because they're not all considered nations at this point, but small players some would rise up and become nations and some would fall away. So you have these city states basically that are being mentioned here in this chapter. Go ahead and start at verse 7 in English.
Come. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And they returned and came to Enmisphat.
Mm-hmm. It's like southern Palestine, okay, close to a place called Kadesh, which is actually what it says next. Go ahead.
Which is Kadesh,
Mm-hmm.
and smote all the country of the Amalekites.
Who?
And smote all the country of the Amalekites.
And who is that? Well, keep going.
And also the Amorites dwelt in Zenzatamar.
Tricky names. Keep going.
Verse 8. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah,
Mm-hmm.
and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela,
Mm-hmm.
the same as Zoar. And they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim.
So you had some major wars going on at that time. Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't just, everybody knows about Sodom and Gomorrah from when it was destroyed, but when it was coming into fruition, it was in a conglomeration of armies with other places. We just mentioned them. It says Zeboim, Admah, Bela. Just know that this is all talking about that whole area in the Middle East, right? North Africa, Northeast Africa, Middle East. What you know today is Palestine. What you know today is Jordan and everything around that area, Saudi Arabia and things like that, okay? So in that land, there's a lot of war going on. Go ahead.
Verse 9. With Kedorlaomer, the king of Elam,
Mm-hmm.
and with Tidal, king of nations,
Mm-hmm.
and Amaraphel, king of Shinar,
Mm-hmm.
and Arioch, king of Elazar, 4 kings with 5. Verse 10. And the vale of Siddim was full of Slamites.
Vale is a valley or a lowland. Or think about like an open plain with a lot of dips in the ground. So it says what? It was full of what?
Slimipids.
Mm-hmm.
Slime pits.
Slime pits. Like that's like your how do I say it? Like
Quicksand.
quick. I won't say. But think about like murky areas. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's a pit, if it rains in that area, it's just gonna settle there, and the ground's not gonna be even. It's gonna be very loose. You know what I mean? Not the best places to fight battles at. So it's more difficult to win in battles there. And it's there that this happened. Read.
And the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there.
Mm-hmm.
And they that remained fled to the mountain.
So they basically, the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah, they were losing to Chedorlaomer, whatever his name is. I call him Charmander. But it was the king of Elam, and them boys were putting in work. They were standing against Sodom and Gomorrah and their group of band of armies. Okay, so they got overcome by the king of Elam, and again, Elam is one of the big players that would be considered a nation later on because of the size and group of them. Okay, I'm actually looking for it. Let me see. A province east of Babylon and northeast of the Lower Tigris. Again, in the Middle East. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 11. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah,
Mm-hmm.
and all their victuals, and went their way.
So Sodom and Gomorrah, they basically lost their power because they lost to the Elamites. Okay, under that king who was leading the charge, and of course battles took place. And you can imagine all the cinematics that Hollywood would try to depict of that. You understand? Just imagine that going down. And these are all darker skinned people. These are all people that come from the seed of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. He was reading in Genesis chapter 10 about how they split up and how everybody kind of had their own land. Well, guess what? Now they're all starting to they're all starting to invade each other and, you know, start beef with each other. Some of them are creating alliances with one another. And this shows you that the Most High always has a narrative of war on the earth. And so in a lot of these parts of the Bible, war has been a natural part of mankind, especially when they don't operate in the mindset that he gave humankind to operate in. People are operating in the flesh. They get jealous. They get lustful. They get prideful. They get all the different emotions that make them want to go and destroy other people. Okay, the world is like that now. You got alliances going on right now. You got people that are being bombed right now. Back then, warfare was different. Back then, it was more hand-to-hand combat, straightforward, you know what I'm saying, going blow to blow with another person up close in person. You understand? A whole lot more of that. Artillery, bows, things like that, those all start to come into play as well. But this is straight up warfare at its most primal form going on in the book of Genesis. Sodom and Gomorrah, these people, these two city-states, they fell to the Elamites. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 12, and they took Lot.
They took who?
Lot.
Uh-oh, they took Lot. Who is that? Read on.
Abram's brother's
Uh-huh.
son.
Abram's brother's son. So who is Lot? Lot is Abram's nephew. We talked about that in the previous chapters, last Sabbath service. So Lot is Abram's brother's nephew. Go ahead.
Who dwelt in Sodom and his goods and departed.
So he got ransacked by the Elamites. Okay, this is what happened. Abram's family, his kinfolk, got taken out because of these wars. Remember, Abram gave Lot the option. He said, you could choose this land over here, or you could choose this land over here. And whichever one you choose, I'll go to the other one so that we don't have no discrepancies because our family is growing large. And so what did Lot do? He chose the land over here that looked prosperous, that looked plenteous. And he said, you know what? I think this may be a good land to go to. When he found out the grass wasn't greener on the other side, because though it may have been the easier choice, there was wars going on there, because guess what? That nice land that he chose was under contention. There was competition between different groups of people who wanted that land, who wanted a piece of that land. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 13, and there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew.
Abram the what?
The Hebrew.
Remember, this was before Israel came to place. So what will we know? What were the seed of Shem and the seed after Eber? It were the Hebrews. They were known because of their language. Okay? They spoke this specific language, and that's how they identified themselves as Hebrews. We call ourselves Hebrew Israelites, right?
Right.
Hebrew being the language, Israelite being the nationality. Back then, they were known as Hebrews because Israel was not a nation yet. You understand? It was before that. So you had Abram that heard about this. Somebody escaped the battle, the carnage, and the slime pits. Man, this war's been going on. These people from Elam, they came out, took out Sodom. Oh, and they took your nephew Lot with them too, and they took all his stuff. Let's see what Abram reacts to that. Go ahead.
Okay. For he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, and in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram.
These were confederate with Abram. So what does that mean? That means that there were people that were on Abram's side. They were confederate with Abram, not against Abram, but they were allies of Abram and his clan, I guess you can call it, his group of his family. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it was. These are more like families than they are nations at this point, right? Big families, big family reunions, and of course the men within that family would make up the army of those families. And so these are different families that kind of had an agreement that, oh, you know what, we're gonna stick together, and if there's anybody that tries to come against us, we'll band against them. Well, this messenger was from that Confederacy of family, so he was like, let me make sure that he knows, because I know that his nephew was a part of those people that got taken. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 14, and when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants.
These weren't just regular servants. These were what?
Trained servants.
He armed his trained servants. Go ahead.
Born in his own house. 318.
So he even had the number 318. Now that's a movie right there. Imagine that 318. You know what I mean? Who the hell is 300? You know, they try to say those were Romans. Who knows? They say, you know, it could have been Judites that were hired. We don't know. They always try to outnumber us anyway. So all throughout the Bible, you see examples of great things happening. Abram said, "Let me get these 300 plus men. We're gonna give them, you know, weapons and stuff like that. These men have been trained, ready for that action." So Abraham wasn't playing. We come from a pedigree of warriors. That's true, because the whole world was going to war at that time. Everybody had to be ready for whatever. Abram was ready, and he had servants that were ready. He had over 300. He had 318. Go ahead.
And pursue them unto Dan.
It pursued them unto Dan. Let's go back to the English and get more of what's going on here. Abraham is ready for that action.
You mean Hebrew?
Huh?
You meant the Hebrew?
Dan? No, Dan is a location, I believe.
No, I'm saying you said let's go back to the English. You meant the Hebrew?
Yeah, the Hebrew. That's what I said.
Oh, you said the English.
This that.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
I think you did.
Where you came from?
Let's go back to the Hebrew. Now we're gonna just read up to verse 21.
Okay. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 15. Waya halak alaiham layalah hawa wa ai pada yawa wayakam wa wayapa wayada aida hawa baha ashar masha ma'a lada mashak. Verse 16. Wayashab da ka harakash wagam ata lawat kaiwa wara kashawa hawa yaba hawayab wagam ata manashayum wa ata hayam. Or 17. Wa aitza malak sadam laruta tawa aharaya shabawaya shawa maha kawat ata la amar
Which one is the no?
Shedder Lamore.
Yeah, help him out. Copy that. Stay with him.
Kadara La Amar.
Kadala or more. Wata Hamalakim Ashar Atawa Al Amakwa Amak Shawha Awa, Hamak, Hamakalak,
Malak.
Malak. Verse 18. Or Malakia, Sazadat, Malakwa, Shalom, Hawatzazaya, no, Hawatzazaya, Hawatzazaya, Lacham, Wayayan, Waha, Wahawa, Lahawa, La Allah, Laya. No. I, Layawa. Verse 19. Waya Bara Kahawa Wayamar Barakwaka Abaram La'a Yalawam Kanaha Shamayim.
The chapter ends at 24, so just read
Shamayim.
24.
Waratza. Verse 20. Wabarakwa Al Ayawal Ashar Makawa Zarakaya Bayadaka Waya Lawa Ma'aishar Makala. Verse 21. Wayamar Malaka Sa'adam Al Abaram Tawa Laya Khana Pasha Waka Rakasha Kaha Lak. Verse 22. Wayamar Abaram Al Malak Saddam Hara Yama Thaya Yadaya Al Yahweh Al Alayawam Kwanaha Shamayam Wa'aratza. Verse 23. Am Machawata Waida Sharawak Na Ila Wa'im Akha Makah Ashar Laka Wala Samara Anaya Aisharataya Ata Abaram. Verse 24. Wala I Daya Rakwa Ashar Aka Lawa Hana I Rayam Wahalakwa Wakola Hana Shayam, Ashar, Halakwa,
No, I'm not for.
Hanakwa,
Okay.
Halakwa,
Damn.
Ataya, Anayar,
Okay.
Lashakal,
Okay.
Bomang Mara,
Okay.
Kam,
Okay.
Yakuwa,
Okay.
Hakam, Halakum, for the come.
There you
That was the end of the chapter.
All right, let's go ahead and read it in English now. Genesis chapter 14, verse 15 in the English.
Okay. The book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 15. And he divided himself against him.
First thing first, that's guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare is to flank different sides and split an army up to where it is giving the most effective, how do I say? It's more effective to have your army hitting them all at the same time than bit by bit. If it's just one long line of soldiers or one group of soldiers, only the ones in the front are attacking the enemy. But if they're coming from different locations at the same time, then there is more success in that. Okay, because that's what an ambush is. Think about it. And that is something that has been developed over the years as part of what we call guerrilla warfare. So Abram was not just a righteous man. He was a tactically prepared man when it came to things about war. Go ahead.
Okay. He and his servants by night.
By what? That's another tactic. By night.
By night.
Okay, because it's harder to tell how many people are attacking at night. You can't see the full landscape. You can't see the horizon that the daylight brings. And so a smaller number of men were able to take out a large group of enemies more efficiently because, one, they attacked from different angles and they attacked at night. Go ahead.
Okay. By night and smote them and pursue them unto Habab, which is in the left hand of Damascus.
Yep, that's again in the Middle East. This is in the area where Israel eventually would dwell at, right? Keep going.
Verse 16, and he brought back all the goods and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods and the women also.
Damn.
And the people.
Abraham was a hero, bro.
Right.
He led this army and he killed people. He did what he had to do at that time. People will talk about Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham, and all that goofy stuff they sing in the church, right? All them different songs, but they ain't talking about Abraham open a can of whoop. You feel me? Like this is what went down. And what's crazy is that Abram saved the Sodomites. He saved them. Remember, because they had got their goods spoiled and all that. For the sake of Lot, he saved Sodomites and the Gomorrahs and all that. He did not want any dealings with them, but because Lot was among them and the people that got taken out, he said, well, I gotta do something. And he did something. And he prevailed against them. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of
Kedolamar. Yeah, we read about how bad Kedolamar was no punk. He had an army. We read the whole first part of chapter 14 and even in 13, I believe, where he was just taking out people after people. He was like the tyrant of that time. And Abraham took him out. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the pedigree of people the Most High is working with. Go ahead.
And of the kings that were with him at the valley of Sabbath, which is the king's dale.
Keep going.
Verse 18. And the Melchizedek king of Salem.
Now, this is not the normal place. Salem in the Hebrew is Shalom. That's the name of that land, which most people can affirm that this is actually what modern day Jerusalem is.
Yeah.
Okay. So Salem is modern day Jerusalem. Okay. And this was a king named Melchizedek who was what? Read that.
King of Salem brought forth bread and wine. And he was the priest of the Most High God.
He was what?
The priest of the Most High God.
There was a priesthood before Israel was even born. Okay, Melchizedek was the name of the king, and that king wasn't just a king; he was the high priest of the land that would be, figured out later on, would end up being Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth.
Good night. Keep going.
Verse 20. And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tithes of all.
Abram gave tithes to Melchizedek. It says it right here. It says Melchizedek is the king of Salem. Well, the name is Malachiah Tazadak, the king of Salem and priest of the Most High God, to whom Abram paid tithes after he fought the battle to free Lot. The order of Melchizedek, the order of the priesthood to which Christ belongs. That's the definition of Melchizedek, according to the Strong's dictionary. Go ahead.
Verse 21. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons and take the goods to thyself.
So the Sodomites were like wanting to reward Abram for his valiant effort in saving them. Keep going.
Verse 22. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth.
Keep going.
Verse 23. That I would not take from a thread of even a shoelace.
Shoelace, like a shoelace.
Okay. Shoelace. And that I will not take anything that is thine, that thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich.
So he's like, listen, man, you ain't got to pay me nothing for that. I don't want it to even be word that my increase was because of you guys. Like, there's no hatred, right? But he's doing this very diplomatically. He says, y'all have everything that's y'all. Keep going. He does ask for one thing, though. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 24. Save only that which is the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion.
Remember, those were people that were confederate with Abram. Remember that?
Right.
And so he's telling them, hey, man, listen, just make sure my boys get to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, we came over here, we handled business, we took out this whole army. I don't even know if they lost. It doesn't mention if they lost any lives or whatever, but it seemed like it was such a small occurrence that it was like, nah, man, just give us something to eat.
Yeah,
we'll be on our way. And he did him a solid. You know what I'm saying? He did him a solid. Let's go back to the Hebrew. Give him 7 more verses.
Okay.
Keep it going. We're going to continue. This is a story of course, how Abram, of course, now we read chapter 14. Abram saved Sodom and Gomorrah from the Elamites and their confederacy.
Right.
For the sake of Lot, his nephew. Let's get chapter 15.
Okay. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 1. Achar, Adabarayim, Alacha, Hayacha, Dabar, Yahweh, Al, Abaram, Bama, Hazacha, Lamar, Al, Sairah, Abaram, Anakia, Maganwa, Laka, Shakaraka, Habarak, Maida. Verse 2, Wayamar, Abaram, Adanawa, oh, that's other one? Okay. Well, it just says it different here.
Adonai.
Yeah, Adonai. Danya. Yahweh. Macha.
You can say Adawan if you want. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Tafan.
Tahan.
Tafan.
Tathan. Laya. Wa'anakia. Awalak. Arayarai. Abarwa, Mashakwa,
Laban, actually.
Huh?
Laban.
Waban,
Shark.
Mashak, Bayatayu, Hawa, Tamashak, Alaz, Lazai, Yara,
Mhm.
Zaira. Verse 3, Ayamar, Abaram,
Oh no, you said that weirdly. Allah, Allah, ya Izar.
Alaya Izar.
It's good.
Verse 3, Wayamar, Abaram, Khan, Laya, La'a, Abda, Taka,
That's a thought.
Lataka,
It's like that's a thought.
Lathata,
Zara.
Sarai, Wahanaka, Ban, Baya,
Ayafia.
Bayabya,
Ayafia.
Bayathea,
Yawarash.
Yawarash, Ataya. Verse 4, Waha, Naha, Dabar, Yahweh, Alawa,
Alayan.
Alayan,
It's like Alayawa.
Alayalwa, Lamar, La'a, Jaya,
Mashak.
Mashak, Sakha, Kaya, Am, Mashar, Itzah, Ma,
Namayak.
Mamayak, Hawa, Yayasha,
Yayawashak.
Ayashak. Verse 5, Wa'ai Witzah, Atawa, Hata, Watzah, Wayamar, Habata,
Kabat.
Habat, Na, Hasha, Hasha, Ma'ai, Maha, Washapar, Hakawa, Kawapanyam, Aim, Tabaka, La Para, Atam, Wayamar, Lawa, Ka, Hayaha,
Yahaya.
Haya,
Yahaya.
Yahaya,
Zaraka.
Zariah. Verse 6, Wahamai, Yahweh,
Bayan.
Wa'ai, Hashabat, Lawa, Tzadakha. Verse 7, Wayamar, Alawa,
Alayawa.
Alayawa, Anaya, Yahweh, Ashar, Hawatzah, Ta'ai, Marwa, Kashadayim, Latafta, Laka, Ata, Aratzah, Hasazat,
Azah.
Hazat,
Azah.
Hazat, Larasha, Tacha.
All right, let's get that in English now.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 1.
Mhm.
After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceedingly great reward.
Say it again. Most High spoke to Abram. He said, "What?"
I am thy shield and thy exceedingly great reward.
Good night. Keep going.
Come on. Verse 2. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus. Verse 3. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
He said, "Listen, man, I don't feel that blessed. I ain't really got no kids to carry my name." Keep going.
Verse 4. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
Because Abraham technically didn't have any children, but the steward of his house was Eliezer. Okay, but he's saying, the Most High is saying that, oh, you're gonna have somebody come from your own bowel. What he's talking about is cojones. Literally. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 5. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
Man, to go from no kids to that many kids,
Right.
it's got to be a great feeling. So look at them stars. Can you count that number? Can you count all of them? That's how many children you're gonna have in your family to come after you. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 6. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
Okay, keep going.
Verse 7. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit it.
That's right.
Into inheritance.
And the Most High has a plan for Abram. The Most High and Abram trusted in the Most High and believed in what he was saying. It's that type of belief that keeps an optimistic mindset that can help you overcome obstacles in your life. Moments where you feel like you can't push past it, or moments where you feel like you haven't accomplished enough. Abram felt that he hadn't accomplished enough because he didn't have a family to speak for the works that he's done. But he would still risk his life and his entire lineage to go to war for somebody else for no reward. You know how heavy that is? He risked himself and his seed. And after that taking place, after him protecting his nephew, the Most High came to him and said, you're gonna receive, I am your shield. I am your reward. And you're going to be growing into a great nation. And most of the people that are watching this online, and these three brothers right here behind this desk, are one of those stars that the Most High was referring to. Not literally stars, but one of the seeds that was like an innumerable number of those stars. Understand what I'm saying? Which shows that this Bible is true. Which shows that the Most High kept his word. And it shows that Abram was righteous for believing in the Lord. Let's go back to the Hebrew, get the next 7 verses.
Okay. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 8. Wayamar, out of 1. Yahweh, Bamacha, Arai, Kaya, Aya Rasha Nacha. Verse 9. Wayamar Alawa Alaiwa Kwaha Laya I Galak Masha Mashalasha Tha Wiza Masha Lasha Tha Mashalatha Masha Lashat Wayala
Wayal.
Wayal, what?
Wayal.
Wayal. Masha, Masha. Wathar. Waka. Wazar.
Zal. Zal.
Zar. Verse 10. Wayakwaha. Awa. Atar. Ka. Alakha. Waya. Batar. Atam. Batawak.
Buffalo.
Batawak. Wayat.
Where you from?
Wayatam.
Ayash.
Ayash. Barawat.
Wow.
Bathara. Bara.
Bakara.
Lakarath. Ra'aihua.
There you go.
Wata. Hatza. Farah. Watar. Verse 11. Wayarak. Ha'ai Yatha. Huh?
Who's rock? How you rock? It's like why you rock?
Wayarak. Ha'ai Yatha. Ayla.
Hey, yeah, actually.
Hayat. Ayla. Hapagarayam.
You go.
Wayashab. Atam. Abram. Verse 12. Wayahaya. Hashemasha. Abawa. Labawa. Wata. Tamar. Wata. Radama. Napala. Ayla. Abaram. Wahainacha. Ayama. Hashaka. Wadalaka. Napalat. Jalaiwa. Verse 13. Wayamar. Labaram.
Yada.
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 Yadiah.
Oh, no. On. The next one, no. Yada.
Oh, Tada. Kaya. Kara.
Yahaya.
Yahaya.
Sarai.
Sarai. Ba'aratza. La'a. Lacham. Wa'ai. Wam. Warawam. Wa'ai. Wa. Atam. Arbaya. Arbaya. Mawat. Shanach. Verse 14. Wagam. Ata. Hakawaya. Mashar. Ya'ai. Parawa. Dan. Anakwa. Wakaraw. Waharaya. Kan. Itazwa. Itazwa, Barakasha, Gadawal. Verse 15. How many more I got?
Okay. It goes all the way to 21.
All right.
Yeah, just read all the way to 21. That way we can read the whole chapter for the second time.
Okay. Wataha, Tabawa, Al, Abba, the Kaya, Bashalawa, Takobar, Bashaya, Baha, Tawaha, Tawaha, Tawa, Tawab. All right. Tawab. Verse 16. Wara War, Rabaya Aya, Yashua, Shabawa, Hanaha, Kaya, La'a, Shalom, Yawan, Ha, 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 Mariah, Ha, Mariah, Hamariah, Ida, Kanaha. Verse 17. Baya, Haya, Hasha, Masha, Baha, Wa'ai, Lataha, Hayaha, Waha, Naha, Tana, Nara, Aisha, Walap, Padaya, Ashar, no, Ash, Ashar, Ibar, Baya, Haga, Gazarayim, Ha'alaham. Verse 18, Bayawam, Kaha, Waka, Karat, Yahweh, Ata, Abaram, Barayat, La'amar, Lazar, Lazara, Aya, Nata, Ya, Ata, Haratza, Chazachath, Manachar, Matazrayim, Aida, Hanachar, Hakadah, Nachar, Pa'rat. Verse 19, Ata, Kwa, Yanaya, Wa'ata, Haka, Nazaya, Wa'ata, Haka, Kwada, Naya. Verse 20, Wa'ata, Hathataya, Wa'ata, Hapara, Zaya, Ata, Hara Parayim. Verse 21. Wa'ata Hamarai. Wa'ata Haka Na'ai Naya. Wa'ata Haga Raga Shaya. Wa'ata Haya Shawa. Verse that was it.
All right, let's get that in English now. We're going to read chapter 15 of Genesis. Okay.
Verse 7.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 7. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee this land and to inherit it. Verse 8. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know I shall inherit it? Verse 9. And he said unto him, take me an heifer of 3 years old, and she goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. Verse 10. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid them each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. Verse 11. And the fowls came down upon the carcasses. Abram drove them away. Verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him. Verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of in surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Verse 14. And also that nation whom ye shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with a great substance. Verse 15. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt bury it in a good old age. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. Verse 16. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Verse 17. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. Verse 18. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt into the great river, the river of Euphrates. Verse 19. The Canaanites, and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites. Verse 20. And the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Sephims. Verse 21. And the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. That's it.
Back to the Hebrew.
Hold on. I'll add back to it.
Read verse 8. Go to verse 18 again.
Can you fix that? Verse 18?
Yeah, this is very important. This right here is the reason why the wars in the Middle East are still going on.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 18. And the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
Yeah, these are lands that he's about to mention. Go ahead.
Verse 19. The Canaanites, and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites. Verse 20. And the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephims.
Rephaims. And
Rephaims.
the Amorites.
Right.
And the Canaanites. I don't know why, but I like these next two. Girgashites and Jebusites. That just sounds cool. But these are lands that the Most High made a covenant with Abram. He said, unto thy seed I've given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. That's Israel. And then when you go into Revelation and you start reading about the kingdom of heaven and how it goes beyond into Saudi Arabia, and that gives you the entire like huge square that Israel is supposed to be, rather than that little sliver of land that the Israeli state has snaked their way into since the end of World War II. That's the reason why there's never peace in that area, because they understand that the Bible says that they're supposed to have that land, and they're trying to take all that land from the Middle Eastern so that they can unrightfully claim it to be theirs and be like, see, the Bible says we're supposed to have that land, and now we have it. But that day has not happened.
Right.
And that's why they have to go to war with everybody in that land, because they know that they're liars, because they don't have that land at the dimensions that the Most High said. That alone is proof that we're the Israelites and they aren't.
Mm.
Because the scripture said there would be peace in the land when Israel is there. We're not there. There's no peace. Good night. Now let's get the last 10 verses, and it's going to be the first 10 verses of Genesis chapter 16.
Okay.
Genesis chapter 16.
The book of Genesis, chapter 16, verse 1. Washariah, Ashta, Abaram, La'ah, Yaladak, Yaladak, Lawa, Walaha, Shapatha, Shapaka, Tazariah, Washa, Maha, Hagar. Verse 2, Wayamar, Watha'amar, Shariah, Al, Abaram, Hanacha, Na, Tazarium, Yahweh, Manadat, Ba, Na, Al, Shapa, Shapachathium, Awalayim, Iba, Abana, Mama, Naha, Waya, Sha, Maya, Mai, Abaram, Lakawal, Sharai. Verse 3, with the Qua, Sharai, Sharai, Sharia, Asata, Baram, Mata, Hagar, Hama, Taza, Rayam, Matazai, Yath, Shakha, the Ka, Katza, Ashar, Shanayam, the Shabbat, Abaram, Baratza, Kanayan, Uta, Thaba, Atach, Abaram, Ayasha, Lawa, La'ashaka. Verse 4, Wayaba, Al, Hagar, Wathachar, Atara, Kaya, Kamara, Tacha, with the call, Kabara, Thacha, Ha'aya Naya. Verse 5. Wadamar, Sharia, Al, Abaram, Hamasa, Hamasa, huh? Alayak, Nakaya, Hathathai, Hathia, Shapa, Ka, Shapakathia, Haka, Ya, Haka, Yakwa, Wata, Ra, Kaya, Hara, Thaka, Wa'aka, Ba'ai, Yanai, Ayha, Yashapat, Yahawa, Bainaya, Wabana, Wabanayaka. Verse 6. Wayamar, Baram, Al, Sharia, Hanaha, Shaha, Kata, Wayadak, Ashaya, Akha, Katawa, Hanaya, Wathai, Wathahaina, Sharia, Watha, Barat, Upa, Na, Yah. Verse 7. Waya, Matza, Malak, Yahweh, Al, Aya, Hamayam, Bama, Debar, Ila, Ha'ayan, Dabarak, Badara, Shar. Verse 8. Wayamar, Hagar, Shukat, Shariah, Aya, Mazaha, Ba'ath, Wa'anaf, Dalakaya, Wadamar, Wata'amar, Mapanya, Sharaya, Kabura, Aya, Anakia, Bara, Katha. Verse 9. Wayamar, Laka, Malak, Yahweh, Shoba, Al, Kabaratha, Waha, Tha, Ainaya, Hakath, Hatakath, Yahweh, Yadaya. Verse 10. Wayamar, Lacha, Malak, Yahweh, Harabah, Abarah, Abda, Zariah, Wala, Ya, Hazar, Marab. It's 10.
All right, let's get that in English now. Genesis chapter 16.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 16, verse 1. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. Verse 2. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai.
Hey, yo, go ahead and lay with my handmaid. Ain't no woman doing that today. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
It's a different type of woman right here, Sarai. Big up to Sarai. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, and the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. Verse 4. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Good night. It's despised in her eyes. It's because keep going. This is going to explain itself.
Verse 5. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes, and the Lord judged between me and thee.
Damn.
Verse 6. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is thy hand. Do to her as it has pleased thee.
Yeah.
And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face.
This is crazy because it's like the jealousy settled in after her seeing the pregnancy and seeing that she's really about to have my husband's child. And then that jealousy is also kind of selfish too. You think about it, because she wants all the attention to herself, but now Abram's attention now has to be focused on her too, because he got her pregnant, right? And now she's like, now she's blaming Abram. How are you going? It's like she said, what did she say? My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid to thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. It was like, now there's a competition between the two. And now it's like she don't like her no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and then Abram's like, well, she's your handmaid. You do what you want to do with her. And she dealt with her harshly. Treat her like smack, talk smack to her. You know, it's what you would expect a woman to do now, right? Even in the ancient days, it's the same thing.
Right.
A woman would be like that now. Why don't you go be with your baby mama then? You know, it's like that all over again, you know? Just forget about it, man. Keep going.
Verse 7. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. Verse 8. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. Verse 9. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. Verse 10. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
We're going to end it right there. But this is crazy because this right here, I don't know about okay, let me say this. So let's just say this real quick. That's drama right there. And that's why the Arabs come from that. So if you ever seen any novellas from Turkey or Arab, their novellas are all about this kind of stuff because it's the same story from the beginning of their nation. It's crazy. All right, let's go ahead and pray. Come on. That's why I love the scriptures, man, because it's like people always try to say, oh, that was back then. But back then, I mean, this is very relatable stuff we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're playing. Just scroll right. Get it right. Get it right. Go ahead. That Amajim, which means to rise. Sar.
I'm just going to warm.
Okay, go ahead. You get that afterwards. Sar, which means to turn. Opanya Hakodam, which means to face the east. And now we're going to finish with the Lord's Prayer. Go ahead.
Abanaw. Shabbat Shema.
Shabbat Shema.
Kodash.
Ayat.
Ayat. Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh. Malakaka.
Taba'a.
Batazaka. Ayat. Aisha. Baratiza. Kawa. Ayat. Bashama. Nathanael. Bakum. Ka. Yawam. Wasalakana. Kawatna. Kasalakna. Kawatina. Wala. Tabi'ayna. Masawan. Abal. Awashayna. Mayan. Right. Ayat. Laka. Kamalakwa. Wahala. Watapara. I will love you. Come on. Now we got the Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. We forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn to face the front.
No, you gotta go to soup.
Oh, yeah. Turn to face me. Yahbashim Yashtakia.
Yabashim Yashabrakya.
Yahbashim Yashab.
Set it back down.
Layash Ral.
Layash Nahala. You need a blue horn again? All right, at this time, we're going to salute the brothers. One courtesy salute, men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shimon Shabbat. Yadi Matah. Sar, we're going to turn and face this is for one courtesy salute. Men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shema Ladaba Shimon Shabbat. Yadi Matah. Dismiss. And that concludes the ISBK San Antonio Sabbath service.